Shay, I'm trying to make an intro. If I pick you up, will you be quiet? Okay, come here. Come here. You promised you'd behave when I pick you up. That is my wireless mouse. This is the Asus Zephyrus laptop. This is what I use to make my videos. Can I at least do the intro, please? She doesn't want to stand. Look at this. Stand. Stand. Good. Oh my God. Stand. What's happening, everyone? It's your boy Ed from TechSource. Welcome to Setup Wars episode 293. I got a banger episode for you guys, so sit back and relax, because you know what time it is. You guys would be surprised to find out how many companies out there still have your personal information. I did. Exactly 371 companies are holding my data, and with today's sponsor, mine, I'm able to finally reclaim it back. You might not notice this, but your digital footprints are always kept even after deleting the account or removing the app from your phone or even unsubscribing from a list. And that could put you at a huge risk for identity theft, reputation damage, financial loss, and more. We've seen it happen when big companies out there get hacked and all the data gets stolen. I was surprised to find all these companies that still have my data, some of which I don't even recognize. Like, what is OFX and why do they still have my financial information since July of 2016? Mine makes it easy to reclaim back your data. You do this by visiting saymine.com and logging in with your primary email to view all of your digital footprint. Once I click reclaim, Mine helps me send over a deletion request directly to the company from my own inbox. You can then check them out under the reclaim tab and cancel any of the requests within the first hour if you change your mind. So click my link below, you guys, to find out how many companies are still keeping your data and reclaim it back today. Kicking off the episode is Andrew and his pretty badass, fully equipped battle station. This setup was actually inspired by Setup Wars a little over 2 years ago, and it was the very show that got him into the PC world. Welcome to the PC Master Race, by the way. So Andrew is a project manager from Philadelphia who saved up for 6 months to build this setup for gaming, content creation, and watching videos. There's a lot to unpack here as it's a very busy setup, so let's start with the desk. We have a motorized standing desk that holds up 2 ultra-wides. The 38-inch Alienware is the main display, but he's also got a secondary 29-inch in vertical mode that's powered by his MacBook Air. So it looks like he's actually running dual setups. I don't know how I feel about the 29-inch ultra-wide in vertical, but I guess it's a lot better than having a 49-inch in that same position. I still stand by my original recommendation that a 27-inch monitor should be the absolute maximum in that orientation to maximize its full potential. He did make sure to lift the ultra-wide monitor up so that the speakers aren't blocked off, but he does have a pair of Arctis 7 headphones that he uses mostly for gaming. Moving on to peripherals, we got a Drop-Alt keyboard with Holy Pandas and a Rocat Cone mouse. I do love how dedicated he is to the color scheme, as he stuck to mostly white and black with some gray accents across most of his gear, like the custom numpad and the faceplate for his Elgato Stream Deck. The cable management is decent. I mean, it's not the best. We do have most of the wires under control, but there are a few wires left unattended on the floor and behind the PC, which I must say is my favorite part of the setup. The fact that Andrew is new to the PC Master Race and was brave enough to venture into the world of water cooling is what makes this build so impressive. We have a high-end custom water-cooled build inside the TikTok case. It's packing some beefy specs as well. We got a Ryzen 9 5950X and an EVGA RTX 3080 FTW3. Sheesh. I just have 3 things I want to mention about the setup. First, I feel like the webcam angle is at an awkward spot. You have it so low to the desk where it's aiming at your nostrils. Why not just put it right next to the light bar or move it completely to the vertical monitor? Secondly, you can rotate the vertical monitor in the other direction so that the thick chin is facing the left. This will improve the aesthetics and provide a clean and seamless transition between the monitors. And while you did a pretty good job organizing most of the gear on here, I feel like the desk is a bit too congested for my taste. But overall, very impressive setup, especially for a front doorman. Here's another setup that was inspired by Setup Wars. Andy came across the channel over a few years ago and immediately fell in love with PCs and setups. So much that during COVID, he took the opportunity to build his very own happy place where he can work from home as well as game and enjoy watching content. What you're seeing here is a console gamer's transition over to the PC master race, and it is a glorious thing to see. His main goal while building the setup was to keep all the wires hidden, and from first glance I think he nailed it. Not a single cable in sight because everything is ran through the wall. I gotta say, I'm a bit jealous that he has access to the wall behind the setup. This makes it so easy to route and manage the cables from inside the wall. As far as the setup itself, it's definitely got a stunning presentation, with the 3DR panels in the back and triple floating 32-inch displays lined up perfectly. Now the color scheme is a bit different than what we normally see, and personally it's not my cup of tea, but there is consistency with warmer tones from the wall spilling over to the wooden countertop that also provides some nice contrast against the black. The surface of the desk is cleaner than my baby's butt cheeks after a nice warm shower. In fact, the only thing he has on there is the PS5 and his wireless peripherals, the Logitech G9 15 and the G502 mouse. I do love the minimal approach here. For audio, he's got two full-size bookshelf speakers mounted against the wall for listening to music and watching content, but for gaming he switches over to the Logitech G Pro headset that he keeps underneath the desk next to his PS5 controllers, which are also attached to his PC. Andy decided it would be best to leave the PC on the floor so it doesn't clash against the aesthetics of his setup, and I completely agree with him. With this choice, he was able to save money not going with a flashy high-end case and stuck to something that would easily blend in with the drawers. The setup is powered mainly by the custom PC, but he does switch over to the laptop when he needs to multitask and get some work done. He has the laptop tucked away underneath the desk so it doesn't take up any space on the surface. But overall, I think this has been a very impressive submission. I really love Andy's attention to detail and the effort put into planning and executing the setup. Well done, and thanks for sharing this with us. Hosting setup wars for almost 7 years now, I've practically seen everything. But then I come across something special like this, and it's got me asking, what in Satan's butt cheeks is that on your microphone? Why did you give your Blue Yeti a hair makeover? And since we're asking questions, why is my grandmother's shag rug doing on your table? What's even more bizarre about this is that he wrote in the notes he found this on his dad's desk. What was it doing on your dad's desk in the first place? I have so many questions, but so little time. You know what? Let's make this the setup spotlight of the episode. We cue the transition. Okay, so Ari is a 14-year-old kid from New Jersey, and by the way, thanks for clarifying in your occupation that you're a kid. I would have never guessed. I'm not even against the shag rug, to be honest. Hey, you do you, but I would definitely invest into a bigger desk so there is plenty of room for your monitors. That way the ultralight isn't hanging out like that. Also, there's plenty of space for your shag rug. Since we're on that topic, I would never put an ultralight on the side of a main display. Stack it on top of the main if you want, but never put it on the side like that. It doesn't look good, nor is it practical. Personally, I would have put the PC on the floor because, it's an Alienware, but also it would free up extra space to comfortably position your monitors. On top of that, I would pick up a few hangers for your headsets down below. And I just noticed the entire desk is resting on a few pieces of wood, but I don't see anything securing them. This is quite dangerous in the event of an earthquake. The first thing that will go is the PC, followed by the desk. But I will give Ari some credit on the cable management though. He definitely has some setup experience. Other than the bathroom rug and some other interesting choices, I think this setup definitely has potential. Start by getting a better desk and the rest of the upgrades will be easy. Thank you, Ari, for blessing our eyes with this. Super ultra-wide setups have become increasingly popular over the past few years as more companies begin to push out their own version. After all, who doesn't want to consolidate everything and go with a single large monitor? It's a lot cleaner, more efficient, and a lot more convenient to set up since you're dealing with less cables. During the pandemic, Colin took up PC building and decided to build himself a setup where he can kick back and relax, playing some games on his spare time after getting some work done. The centerpiece is of course the Odyssey G9 from Samsung, mounted against the desk with a riser underneath which doesn't really serve a purpose. It's mostly for aesthetics and to help cover the monitor arm. We got a K1 keyboard with crystal keycaps and a wireless G Pro mouse with great cable routing across the desk. I do want to point out the very clever placement of the PowerPlay mousepad. He put it underneath the larger one so it's hidden while still being able to charge his mouse. Very nice. Moving on to audio, we do have a set of Logitech G560 speakers for primary use and the SteelSeries Pros for gaming. Due to the large size of the monitor taking up all the space on the desk, Colin opted for a low-profile boom arm for his Elgato Wave 3. This way he's able to pull the mic out directly from underneath the ultralight without it affecting the view of the monitor. The more I look at these pictures, the more I am starting to appreciate Colin's attention to detail and the exquisite taste in decoration. Cables are managed perfectly with a few cable racks and zip ties, all leading to his powerhouse of a PC underneath here, packing the Ryzen 9 5950X, 128 gigs of RAM, and an ROG Strix 3090, all underwater in this epic water-cooled build. You know what I'm gonna say, so say it with me. Damn, son, that is one hell of a build. It's almost a shame it has to be on the floor, but I get it, trust me. It pains me as much as it does to you, but I get it. Really clean bends, by the way. I'm very impressed. This entire setup is executed very well. We got functionality, great cable management, and tons of personality. From award medals to posters and various collectibles scattered across the wall shelves. Very, very impressive setup. Thank you, Colin, for entering. Wrapping up the episode is Jack, a 16-year-old student who does day trading on the side and works as a grocery stalker at night. Through the hustling, he's managed to save up and build himself a pretty badass gaming setup in just 6 months. I gotta say though, I do like the hexagon panel backdrop with a digital clock in the middle. It sets a nice tone for the rest of the setup. We got a triple TIE Fighter monitor layout with a 27-inch as the main and 2 supplemental 20 inches in vertical for multitasking and day trading. All the monitors are hooked up against a Carlby countertop that's lifted slightly higher using some Kapita Legs. He kept things very organized and minimal above the surface with a custom Tofu keyboard and a G Pro wireless mouse. However, I would recommend picking up a pencil drawer to store your Apple AirPods and the USB drive if you're not using them. No speakers here, but we do have a pair of DT770 Pros hanging off the boom arm. Looks like the mic is hooked up to a Scarlett audio interface and most of the cables are channeled behind the monitor and into a Signum rack. I mean, there are a few cables up top that are left unattended, but not a big deal considering everything else is taken care of. The PC powering it all is a beautiful custom build featuring the Ryzen 7 3700X and the Gigabyte RTX 3070. Look at how large that card is, by the way. It's practically touching the fans in the front. All in all, it's a very tasteful gaming setup, especially for a 16-year-old. Thank you for sharing this with us and good luck on your day trading, my guy. As a reminder, you guys can always pick up a cheap Windows CD key for less than $15. Just click on my link below and use the code TS20 for an extra 20% off. Once you get your CD key, just visit the activation settings in Windows and change your product key. It's that simple. You want to applaud? Yeah, it was a great episode. Thank you. Thank you. It was a great episode. It was a fantastic episode. I hope you guys enjoyed the episode. Make sure to comment below. Let me know which of these setups was your absolute favorite. If you did enjoy the video, do let me know. Toss a like. I'm sure Shayla would appreciate it. And if you guys are new here, consider subscribing because we do host setup wars every single Monday. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you very soon in the next one. All right, let's get out of here.